I've been asked to do a video on importing data from your supplier. So each of your suppliers should have a stock list, and sometimes the stock list can come looking like this. All we need for an import is an item code. It's this one here. We need a description and a cost price. We can work the rest out through formulas in Excel. So we can work out the price list once we know what margin we want to make on the cost price, and we can add the VAT to it as well, 23% VAT onto the price. And that's kind of all we need to know to get the importation done, rather than manually having to type in 2,000 items into the system. One quick thing you have to check. I've noticed on some suppliers' stock list, they have a lot of duplicates on their codes here. Now this is okay on your first import, but next year when you're doing another import of the new stuff will obviously include your existing items. And what's going to happen then is, if the item codes are the same, when you do a search for, just say, tiling wedges, if this code is the same, you're going to end up with two products the same on the system, which is not very good. Now I have noticed it before in some suppliers list, that the codes, as I said, can be duplicated. So you can actually quickly find out if you have a duplicate in this whole row. Usually what I do is, see this conditional formatting, I can click on that. You can highlight cells and you can click highlight duplicate values. If you click on that, so it's going to fill up the duplicate value with a red dark text. So if you click OK on that and you have no red, you're good to go on the import. I'll just show you an example. If there was a duplicate, you see it'll highlight the duplicates up like that. So if there is a duplicate like that, don't continue with the import. Contact your supplier and find out why there is a duplicate code for two of your products. Other than that, we're ready to go. Okay. So usually what I do then is we can create another field here. So this field is going to be the price. This field is going to be price VAT. Now we can call these whatever we want. We're only going to copy these fields into a template. So we can call these fields here anything we want. These are the ones that we're adding in. So we can create another field and we call it margin. This is the margin that we want to make. Margin or profit. Sorry there. M-A-R-G-I-N. So it's the margin on this. And then we can add our VAT rate. Okay. So the margin we're going to create here is 55%, and the VAT is going to be 23%. So it's going to be 55% margin on this. It's going to be the price. And then we're going to do another calculation, 23% of the price. Okay, straightforward. There's really nothing to it. A lot of guys get confused, but it's straightforward. So we can just drag that down to the very end then, 55%. Drag it until you get to the end and let go. Scroll back to the top, 23%. Scroll to the bottom. Okay. Scroll back up. Okay, so obviously you could have like 4,000, 5,000, 10,000 products. It makes no odds. We're only doing 85 here at the moment. It's a good example for an import. So the price then is going to be 55% of this C. So this is C2. So it's column C, row 2. See it here? So the formula then is going to be equals. So this D is going to equal. It's going to equal C2. So it's going to equal 266. And then it's the multiply sign on a bracket. Number 1. And we're going to do plus, and it's going to be column F, row 2 is 55%. So it's going to be F2 plus F2, and just finish it off then with your bracket. And if you let go then, that's 55% profit on that. That's basically how you do it. And then literally to get the 55% down onto the rest of them, again we just drag. And Excel does the magic for you. Excel will do all the calculations. and just let go. So this here is the most important calculation. So if you had, for instance, a different supplier's code, and you're adding in, it could be like H2 or I2, it might necessarily be C2 all the time. It's just that the cost price is in C2, so it could be in D2. So you just have to have a look and see where your cost price is, and then wherever you create your margin, 55%. So we could actually literally change that 55% to 65, and it will automatically calculate. So that's literally all we have to do. And then we can do the same then again for adding the VAT. So we need 23% VAT onto this price here. Now, the system that we're going to be using for the flooring and the furniture system, we can put input prices including VAT or excluding VAT. 99% of people will want to sell with the price including VAT to their customer, and this is business to business. So 99% of the time is going to be price including VAT. So this is why we do the calculation here. As I said to you, we can do it in the system, but it's just easier to do it here. So again, it's the same thing. So again, if we go equals, so E2 equals, and this is going to equal the price here. So it's D2. So D2. I'm going to multiply again. I'm going to put a bracket. It's going to be number 1. It's going to be the plus sign. So it's plus, and this time is G2 because we want to put 23% on to this price here. So it's G2. And we're going to close the bracket. Let's make this a bit bigger and just scroll away. Okay, so there's a typo. You can see here I put two brackets. Is it? Equals. Let's see what I'm doing wrong here. Yeah, I can see what I've done wrong. There's no bracket at the start, so that's a good example. See the bracket here? See this bracket? There's no bracket at the start. Okay, so it should be just equals D2. Close that bracket. So that's a good example of, I mean, something goes wrong. So just leave it like that. D2. Okay, so then we can just drag that down along. Again, if you get this here where it has 507 and has 3 decimal points, we can just bring it to 2 decimal points, 1 or no decimal points. So it's 2 decimal points is standard. So that's how we change that, and that's more or less all we need to do on your supplier stock list that he gave you. We can now copy these fields over onto the template. I'm going to pause the video now, and I'm just going to open up the template file, and I can show you how we can copy the files across. Okay, so this is the template that I would send you, and what we need to do now is we need to copy the fields from our other stock file into these particular fields here. Okay. Again, straightforward. So open up our suppliers. So we can start off with, if we can look at our import, it's looking for product name. So we find our product name. So highlight the first name, scroll down to the last one, hold the shift key on your keyboard and click the last one, and that highlights all items. We can right click and we can just click copy. We can open up our other Excel file and we can click on it and we can click on paste. That will paste all our names in. So again, can be sold, can we sell this? Yes, we can. We can drag down along to the end. And can it be purchased? Leave true. So it's all caps. Scroll on to the end. Stock of a product. So again, category, internal category can be tools, can be whatever you want. I'm just going to call internal category the same as the vendor at the moment. but it can be ESP, it can be tools, it can be anything you want. Internal reference, then go back to our Excel file. Internal reference is here, is your item code. Again, scroll down, highlight the first item in the row, scroll down, click on the shift key and then click the last one. Right click, click copy, open back up the other file. Sorry, open back up the other file here and right click and paste. So barcode, if your supplier has a barcode, again, put your barcode in here. Your sales price is the price we're going to sell to the customer at. So again, back here, our price is going to be this here, the price with the VAT. So again, highlight the first one, scroll down to the bottom. Now this when you're importing, this is going to be slightly different because it was a calculation for us to get this field. So if we just right click now and paste, you'll see it'll probably be 0. See here? So it's 0, but you see the 1, 2, 3 beside the paste. This actually pastes the actual values from the other Excel file because those values had a calculation. So click on values here, and the cost price is going to be the same. We're going to import it from the cost price. Now this was already in the stock file. So again, if you get it like this where it's going around the Excel file, if you just click escape, it'll stop it. Highlight 2000 or 266. Scroll down to the bottom, hold the shift key, click the last one, right click and copy. You get the idea of this, it's straightforward. Again, if you just leave the mouse over, paste, we're going to measure it, we can leave that as default. With the taxes, the customer tax is 23%, so scroll down to the end, we need that has to be done. The vendor tax, scroll down to the end, that has to be done. What else has to be done? Yeah, the vendor name is ESP. The vendor price, we can import that. That's going to be the same as your cost price. We can import that as well. So you can go back there. Right click, copy. So go back to our other file here. SP. Copy. Paste. Vendor names. There's no square yards in the tools. And that's literally all we need then. So we can save that file, you can send that file to me, and I can import that directly into the system. It's still what took 10 minutes there to do 85 products. It'll take you a lot longer to manually type 85 products into the system. So again, you can see how quick and how easy it is to do via stock. So have a chat with your suppliers. They should be supplying a stock list. Again, the most important part of this here will be your internal reference for next year when we're importing. So basically what the system does, it will check, and if this code exists, what it will do, it will update this. So if you had a price change, for instance, just say this next year this was changed to 510, so the system will come along and it'll look for this, it'll know it's already there, and then it'll just do an update. If this is not there, it will create a new product. So again, another thing I've seen with suppliers is next year they might have a different code here, but it's actually the same product. Again, you end up with two products the same in your system. That's something you would have to sort out with your supplier. Make sure that their stock list is up to date. But again, there's a quick check. You can go to conditional formatting, you can click highlight cells, and you can duplicate values. You can just check quickly to see is there any duplicate values in that before we can import it. But that file now is ready for an import. Literally take less than 2 minutes to do 85 products. Very, very easy.